welcome to the Reality Revolution. Today we're reading a short but powerful piece from Robert Collier and his famous book, The Secret of the Ages, that addressed the law of attraction and gave techniques and writings about manifestation a long time ago. We've covered Robert Collier in several episodes, and this will convince you of the power of your mind. For now is the time for you to summon your genie, just like Aladdin did when he summoned his genie. You can have anything you want. All things are possible when you access the power of the intelligence of the universe. Summon Your Genie by Robert Collier. But the feeble hands and helpless, groping blindly in the darkness, touch God's right hand in that darkness and are lifted up and strengthened. Longfellow. It is not always the man who struggles hardest who gets on in the world. It is the direction, as well as the energy of struggle, that counts in making progress. To get ahead, you must swim with the tide. Men prosper and succeed who work in accord with natural forces. A given amount of effort with these forces carries a man faster and farther than much more effort used against the current. Those who work blindly, regardless of these forces, make life difficult for themselves and rarely prosper. It has been estimated by wise observers that on the average, something like 90% of the factors producing success or failure lie outside a man's conscious efforts, separate from his daily round of details. To the extent that he cooperates with the wisdom and power of universal mind, he is successful, well, and happy. To the extent that he fails to cooperate, he is unsuccessful, sick, and miserable. All down the ages, some have been enabled to taste and see that the Lord is good. Prophets and seers, being blessed with the loving kindness of God, have proclaimed a God of universal goodness, saying, "The earth is full of the goodness of the Lord. Thou wilt show me the path of life. In thy presence is fullness of joy." Now we know that this infinite good is not more available to one than it is to all. We know that the only limit to it is in our capacity to receive. If you had a problem in mathematics to work out, you would hardly gather together the necessary figures and leave them to arrange themselves in their proper sequence. You would know that while the method for solving every problem has been figured out, you have got to work it. The principles are here, but you have got to apply them. The first essential is to understand the principle, to learn how it works, how to use it. The second and even more important part is to apply that understanding to the problem in hand. In the same way, the principle of infinite energy, infinite supply is ever available, but that energy, that supply, is static. You've got to make it dynamic. You've got to understand the law. You've got to apply your understanding in order to solve your problems of poverty, discord, and disease. Science shows that it is possible to accomplish any good thing, but distrust of your ability to reach the goal desired often holds you back, and failure is the inevitable result. Only by understanding that there is but one power, and that this power is mind, not circumstances or environment, is it possible to bring your real abilities to the surface and put them to work. Few deny that intelligence governs the universe. It matters not whether you call this intelligence universal mind, or providence, or God, or merely nature. All admit its directing power. All admit that it is a force for good, for progress, but few realize that our own minds are a part of this universal mind, in just the same way that the rays of the sun are a part of the sun. If we will work in harmony with it, we can draw upon universal mind for all power, all intelligence, in the same way that the sun's rays draw upon the source for the heat and light they bring the earth. It is not enough to know that you have this power. You must put it into practice and not once or twice, but every hour and every day. Don't be discouraged if at first it doesn't always work. When you first studied arithmetic, your problems did not always work out correctly, did they? Yet, you did not on that account doubt the principle of mathematics. You knew that the fault was with your methods, not with the principle. It's the same in this. The power is there, correctly used. It can do anything. All will agree that the mind which first brought the life principle to this earth, which imaged the earth itself and the trees and the plants and the animals, is all powerful. All will agree that to solve any problem, to meet any need, mind has but to realize the need and it will be met. What most of us do not understand or realize is that we ourselves, being part of universal mind, have this same power. Just as the drop of water from the ocean has all the properties of the great bulk of the water in the ocean, just as the spark of electricity has all the properties of the thunderbolt. And having that power, we have only to realize it and use it to get from life any good we may desire. In the beginning, all was void, space, nothingness. How did universal mind construct the planets, the firmaments, the earth and all the things on it and in it from this formless void? By first making a mental image on which to build. That is what you, too, must do. You control your destiny, your future, your happiness to the exact extent to which you can think them out. Visualize them. See them. And allow no vagrant thought of fear or worry to mar their completion and beauty. The quality of your thought is the measure of your power. Clear, forceful thought has the power of attracting to itself everything it may need for the fruition of those thoughts. As W.D. Waddles puts it in his Science of Getting Rich, there is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which in its original state permeates, penetrates, and fills the interspaces of the universe. A thought in this substance produces the thing that is imagined by that thought. Man can form things in his thought, and by impressing his thought upon formless substance, can cause the thing he thinks about to be created. The connecting link between your conscious mind and the universal is thought, and every thought that is in harmony with the progress and good, every thought that is heightened with the right idea can penetrate to universal mind, and penetrating to it, it comes back with the power of universal mind to accomplish it. You don't need to originate the ways and means. The universal mind knows how to bring about any necessary result. There is but one right way to solve any given problem. When your human judgment is unable to decide what that one right way is, turn to universal mind for guidance. You need never fear the outcome, for if you heed its advice, you cannot go wrong. Always remember your mind is but a conductor, good or poor, as you make it. For the power of universal mind and thought is the connecting energy. Use that conductor, and you will improve its conductivity. Demand much, and you will receive the more. The universal does not limit any of its gifts. Ask, and ye shall receive. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. That is the law of life, and the destiny of man lies not in poverty and hardship, but in living up to his high estate in unity with universal mind, with the power that governs the universe. To look upon poverty and sickness as sent by God, and therefore inevitable, is the way of the weakling. God never sent us anything but good. What is more, he has never yet failed to give to those who would use them the means to overcome any condition not of his making. Sickness and poverty are not of his making. They are not evidence of virtue, but of weakness. God gave us everything in abundance, and he expects us to manifest that abundance. If you had a son you loved very much and you surrounded him with good things, which he had only to exert himself in order to reach, you wouldn't like it if he showed himself to the world half-starved, ill-kempt, and clothed in rags, merely because he was unwilling to exert himself enough to reach for the good things you had provided. No more, in my humble opinion, does God. Man's principal business in life, as I see it, is to establish a contract with universal mind. It is to acquire an understanding of this power that is in him. With all thy getting, get understanding, said Solomon. Happy is the man that findeth wisdom, and the man that getteth understanding, for the gaining of it is better than the gaining of silver, and the profit thereof than fine gold. She is more precious than rubies, and none of the things thou canst desire are to be compared unto her. Length of days in her right hand, in her left hand are riches and honor. Her ways are ways of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. She is a tree of life to them that lay hold upon her, and happy is every one that retaineth her. Proverbs. When you become conscious, even to a limited degree, of your oneness with universal mind, your ability to call upon it at will for anything you may need, it makes a different man of you. Gone are the fears, gone are the worries. You know that your success, your health, your happiness will be measured only by the degree to which you can impress the fruition of your desires upon mind. The toll and worry, the wearisome grind, the backbreaking work will go in the future as in the past to those who will not use their minds. The less they use them, the more they will sweat, and the more they work only from the neck down, the less they will be paid, and the more hopeless their lot will become. It is mind that rules the world. But to use your mind to the best advantage doesn't mean to toil along with the mere conscious part of it. It means hitching up your conscious mind with the man inside you, with the little mental brownies, as Robert Louis Stevenson called them, and then working together or a definite end. My brownies, God bless them, said Stevenson, who do one half of my work for me when I am fast asleep, and in all human likelihood do the rest for me as well when I am wide awake and foolishly suppose that I do it myself. I had long been wanting to write a book on man's double being. For 2 days I went about racking my brains for a plot of any sort, and on the second night I dreamt the scene in Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde at the window, and a scene afterward split in two, in which Hyde took the powder and underwent the change in the presence of his pursuer. Many another famous writer has spoken in similar strain, and every man who has problems to solve has had like experiences. You know how, after you have studied a problem from all angles, it sometimes seems worse jumbled than when you started on it. Leave it then for a while, forget it, and when you go back to it, you find your thoughts clarified, the line of reasoning worked out, your problem solved for you. It is your little mental brownies who have done the work for you. The flash of genius does not originate in your own brain. Through intense concentration, you've established a circuit through your subconscious mind with the universal, and it is from it that the inspiration comes. All genius, all progress is from the same source. It lies with you merely to learn how to establish this circuit at will so that you can call upon it at need. It can be done. In the inner consciousness of each of us, quotes Dumont in The Mastermind, there are forces which act much the same as would countless tiny mental brownies or helpers who are anxious and willing to assist us in our mental work, if we will but have confidence and trust in them. This is a psychological truth expressed in the terms of the old fairy tales. The process of calling into service these inner conscious helpers is similar to that which we constantly employ to recall some forgotten fact or name. We find that we cannot collect some desired fact or date or name, and instead of racking our brains with an increased effort, or if we have learned the secret, pass on the matter to the inner consciousness with a silent command, recollect this name for me, and then go on with our ordinary work. After a few minutes, or it may be hours, all of a sudden, pop! will come the missing name or fact before us, flashed from the planes of the inner consciousness by the help of the kindly workers or brownies of those planes. The experience is so common that we have ceased to wonder at it, and yet it is a wonderful manifestation of the inner consciousness workings of the mind. Stop and think a moment, and you will see that the missing word does not present itself accidentally or just because. There are mental processes at work for your benefit, and when they have worked out the problem for you, they gleefully push it up from their plane onto the plane of the outer consciousness where you may use it. We know of no better way of illustrating the matter than by this fanciful figure of the mental brownies in connection with the illustration of the subconscious storehouse. If you would learn to take advantage of the work of these subconscious brownies, we advise you to form a mental picture of the subconscious storehouse in which is stored all sorts of knowledge that you have placed there during your lifetime, as well as the impressions that you have acquired by race inheritance, racial memory, in fact. The information stored away has often been placed in the storage rooms without any regard for systematic storing or arrangement, and when you wish to find something that has been stored away there a long time ago, the exact place being forgotten, you are compelled to call to your assistance the little brownies of the mind, which perform faithfully your mental command. Recollect this for me. These brownies are the same little chaps that you charge with the task of waking you at 4 o'clock tomorrow morning when you wish to catch an early train. And they obey you well in the work of this mental alarm clock. These same little chaps will also flash into your consciousness the report, "I have an engagement at 2 o'clock with Jones." When looking at your watch, you will see that it is a quarter before the hour of 2, the time of your engagement. Well then, if you will examine carefully into a subject which you wish to master and will pass along the results of your observations to these subconscious brownies, you will find that they will work the raw materials of thought into shape for you in a comparatively short time. They will analyze, systematize, collate, and arrange in consecutive order the various details of information which you have passed on to them, and will add thereto the articles of similar information that they will find stored away in the recesses of your memory. In this way, they will group together various scattered bits of knowledge that you have forgotten. And right there, let us say to you that you never absolutely forget anything that you have placed in your mind. You may be unable to recollect certain things, but they are not lost. Sometime later, some associative connection will be made with some other fact, and lo, the missing idea will be found fitted nicely into its place in the larger idea. The work of our little brownies. Remember Thompson's statement, in view of having to wait for the results of these unconscious processes, I have proved the habit of getting together material in advance and then leaving the mass to digest itself until I am ready to write about it. This subconscious digestion is really the work of our little mental brownies. There are many ways of setting the brownies to work. Nearly everyone has had some experience more or less in the matter, although often it is produced almost unconsciously, without purpose and intent. Perhaps the best way for the average person, or rather the majority of persons, to get the desired result is for one to get as clear an idea of what one really wants to know, as clear an idea or mental image of the question you wish answered. And after rolling it around in your mind, mentally chewing it, as it were, giving it a high degree of voluntary attention, you can pass it on to your subconscious mentally with the mental command, "Attend to this for me, work out the answer," or some similar order. This command may be given silently or else spoken aloud. Either will do. Speak to the subconscious mentality or its little workers just as you would speak to persons in your employ, kindly but firmly. Talk to the little workers and firmly command them to do your work, and then forget all about the matter. Throw it off your conscious mind and attend to your other tasks. Then in due time will come your answer, flashed into your consciousness, perhaps not until the very minute that you must decide upon the matter or need the information. You may give your brownies orders to report at such and such a time, just as you do when you tell them to awaken you at a certain time in the morning so as to catch the early train, or just as they remind you of the hour of your appointment if you have them all well trained. Have you ever read the story of Richard Harding Davis, of the man who could not lose? In it, the hero is intensely interested in racing. He has studied records and dope sheets until he knows the history of every horse backward and forward. The day before the big race, he is reclining in an easy chair, thinking of the morrow's race, and he drops off to sleep. With that thought on his mind, naturally his subconscious mind takes it up, with the result that he dreams the exact outcome of the race. That was mere fiction, of course, but if races were run solely on the speed and stamina of the horses, it would be entirely possible to work out the results in just that way. Unfortunately, other factors frequently enter into every betting game. But the idea behind Davis's story is entirely right. The way to contact with your subconscious mind, the way to get the help of the man inside you in working out any problem, is first, fill your mind with every bit of information regarding that problem that you can lay your hands on. Second, pick out a chair or lounge or bed where you can recline in perfect comfort, where you can forget your body entirely. Third, let your mind dwell upon the problem for a moment, not worrying, not fretting, but placidly, and then turn it over to the man inside you. Say to him, "This is your problem. You can do anything. You know the answer to everything. Work this out for me." And utterly relax. Drop off to sleep if you can. At least drop into one of those half-sleepy, half-wakeful reveries that keep other thoughts from obtruding upon your consciousness. Do as Aladdin did. Summon your genie. Give him your orders. Then forget the matter, secure in the knowledge that he will attend to it for you. When you awaken, you will have the answer for whatever thought, whatever problem you can get across to your subconscious mind at the moment of dropping off to sleep. That man inside you, that genie of your mind, will work it out for you. Of course, not everyone can succeed in getting the right thought across to the subconscious at the first or second attempt. It requires understanding and faith, just as the working out of problems in mathematics requires an understanding of and faith in the principles of mathematics. But keep on trying, and you will do it. When you do, the results are sure. If it's something that you want, visualize it first in your mind's eye. See it in every possible detail. See yourself going through every move it will be necessary for you to go through when your wish comes into being. Build up a complete story step by step, just as though you were acting it all out. Get from it every ounce of pleasure and satisfaction that you can. Be thankful for this gift that has come to you. Then relax. Go on to sleep if you can. Give the man inside you a chance to work out the consummation of your wish without interference. When you awaken, hold it all pleasurably in thought again for a few moments. Don't let doubts and fears creep in, but go ahead, confidently, knowing that your wish is working itself out. Know this, believe it, and if there is nothing harmful in it, it will work out. For somewhere in universal mind, there exists the correct solution of every problem. It matters not how stupendous and complicated, nor how simple a problem may appear to be. There always exists the right solution in universal mind, and because this solution does exist, there also exists the ability to ascertain and to prove what that solution is. You can know and you can do every right thing. Whatever it is necessary for you to know, whatever it is necessary for you to do, you can know and you can do, if you will but seek the help of universal mind and be governed by its suggestions. Try this method every night for a little while, and the problem does not exist that you cannot solve. Now, to regular people that follow my channel, there's nothing in here that you haven't heard before. But there are key points that you must continually remind yourself of. First of all, the universal mind is the all-powerful intelligence that governs the universe, and your own mind is a part of it. And to solve problems and meet needs, you must make a mental image and visualize the desired outcome in detail. The subconscious mind, or the mental brownies, can work out solutions and bring inspiration when the conscious mind is relaxed or asleep. To engage the subconscious, you should gather all available information on a problem, then turn it over to the man inside you, with the confidence that a solution will be found. Proper visualization, belief, and thankfulness are the key to manifesting desires through the subconscious mind. Persistence is necessary, as it might take multiple attempts to successfully engage the subconscious. The right solution to every problem exists in the universal mind, and seeking its help, you can know and do every right thing. Collier is asserting that by understanding the power of the subconscious and learning to work in harmony with the universal mind, you can overcome any problem, solve anything, and achieve any goal in life. All you have to do is summon your genie. It's always been available to you. Now is the time to summon it. You can find all episodes of The Reality Revolution at therealityrevolution.com, and welcome to The Reality Revolution.